Continuing from the previous episode 820. Do not. No. Mu Yingying with azure pupils suddenly turned into normal pupils and murmured. What do you want me to say? Master, you are too stupid. Just like your stupid brother. Believe in some ** human love. Don't do anything with your dignified holy flame. You have to convert to human beings for a human woman, and the strength of Do Xian instantly turns into nothingness. It is said that your brother is very talented, and his strength finally broke through Do Xian again, but you are not so lucky. In my opinion, as you don't love yourself so much, and you use the source of holy flame many times to unlock the seal, it won't take long for your seal to me to become much weaker. I'm afraid then. After Mu Yingying with blue pupils finished speaking, she suddenly felt that there was an unusually strong mass on the palm of her hand that was absorbing her power. Immediately, he snorted coldly. The strength of this saintly flame is so powerful that you can absorb it as you like. With a disdainful voice, the Yingxuan Iron Mother was instantly shaken away by Mu Yingying with azure pupils. Dropped once. You! Get out of here! Mu Yingying's pupils regained her calm, and then she shouted angrily. However, Mu Yingying felt that her body was indeed what the holy flame spirit said. My brother said that human emotions are the most beautiful. Xiaoyan, I know that you won't let me down. Mu Yingying still seemed unwilling to give up, and immediately said a few words. The next moment, Mu Yingying looked down and found that the Yingxuan Iron Mother had left the spring. She immediately felt relieved. Just when she wanted to leave, something strange suddenly happened. Isn't this the broken fairy sword that Xiaoyan gave me? Mu Yingying stared at the fairy sword that suddenly ran out of her Naji, and immediately became puzzled. Wing Om. At this moment, the immortal sword emitted a rather greedy aura, approaching the yin and mysterious Iron Mother. You mean, this thing is useful? Mu Yingying understood the meaning of the immortal sword, and immediately thought about it. The next moment, Mu Yingying didn't hesitate to take the yin and mysterious Iron Mother away, and immediately prepared to leave here. Seeing this situation, the immortal sword disappeared. And that spring, without the obstruction of Yingxuan Iron Mother, a steady stream of mysterious power is also emerging. It seems that there is no obstruction of Yingxuan Iron Mother, and the two Yaiquan of life and death has returned to normal. Strange, although this Yangxuan Iron Mother has been taken out by me, and the two springs of life and death should return to normal, but where does this entrance seem to be connected? Xiaoyan murmured as he looked at the spring eye that kept gushing out some spring water, and said in doubt. Although these springs did make Xiaoyan feel reborn, Xiaoyan always felt that something was wrong, and it seemed that there was something else connected to this spring. Oh, no matter what, let's go up first and see how Mu Yingying is doing. After Xiaoyan finished speaking, he put away the Yangxuan Tianmu and walked directly towards the periphery of life and death airy spring. And as Xiaoyan left, through the spring, a figure slowly spoke. Unexpectedly, someone has actually opened the blocked fountain of life and death. Whereas the ability to devour things is extremely strong, even the vicious old monster 8-star Do Emperor's complete strength is helpless, unexpected. It was just a voice, but the source of this voice. It is impressively in Hirohan Island. Are you alright? Mu Yingying left the spring first and appeared immediately, and everyone stepped forward and asked. It's alright, that spring is indeed blocked, but it has been opened by my holy flame. I believe that this spring of life and death will be ready for use soon. Mu Yingying laughed. Where's Xiaoyan? Haven't you come up yet? Mu Yingying looked around, but didn't notice Xiaoyan's voice, so she opened her mouth. It should be soon. Yu Ru heard that. Naturally she was not good at what to say. No, I'll go down and have a look. Without thinking, Mu Yingying turned around and walked towards the fountain where Xiaoyan went down. No, you are sick. Xiaoyan just said that if you come up first, then wait for him. At this time, Qinxin stepped forward and pulled Mu Yingying. When Mu Feng heard this, what kind of thing was this? He was about to say something when he saw Leng Fuyao's voice transmission. Are you stupid? What? Mu Feng was at a loss. Xiaoyan didn't say those words just now. Why is Qinxin talking nonsense? Isn't this harmful? Seeing that your breath is a little unsteady, what happened next? Shu Qi also stepped forward and asked. It's alright, this is the thing below. Mu Yingying immediately warmed her heart when she heard Xiaoyan's exhortation to leave early, and said. What is this? Seeing this, Yu Ru and the others gathered around. To be honest, I don't even know what it is. However, this thing's ability to swallow is extremely powerful. If I didn't have Holy Flame, I'm afraid it would be really difficult to deal with it. And it was the murderer who blocked the spring's mouth, said Mu Yingying. These guys are really a bunch of little monsters. 2 Holy Flames. Isn't this kind of Holy Flame a strange thing in the Great Thousand World? How can it appear one after another? And the thing below that is blocking the spring is a very precious thing. If I hadn't been able to solve it, I'm afraid it wouldn't be cheap for you guys. The vicious old monster said with some regret, obviously looking at the dark blue iron ball in Mu Yingying's hand. Mother, I have an idea, but now I am restrained by the *** fellow of Fairy Moon, and I have no fighting power. This thing, although I don't know what it is, it must be a treasure. Mu Feng said at this time, obviously for Mu Feng, who is proficient in the 5 elements and gossip, something must be unusual. Plop. With a sound, Xiao Yan's figure slowly emerged from the spring. Xiao Yan came back. I don't know who said it. Everyone looked up and saw that Xiao Yan was also holding an iron block that was exactly the same as Xiao Yan's, and they didn't know what it was for. Okay, the 2 springs of life and death have returned to normal. Everyone can go in after the meeting. As for whether it can improve the level of life force or other effects, I don't know. After speaking, Xiao Yan shook his head, and then came to the Mu Yingying asked a question. Are you alright? Xiao Yan asked. I'm fine. Well, this thing is the murderer who blocked the spring. Mu Yingying's face was not surprised, but she was extremely happy, whether it was Xiao Yan who stopped her from going down just now, or Xiao Yan had asked her for a long time, or even now, Mu Yingying spoke up. Yingying knew that this was Xiao Yan's heartfelt concern. I'm obedient. Yin Zan Iron Mother? Xiao Yan didn't notice Mu Yingying's strangeness, and was surprised when he saw the iron block in Mu Yingying's hand. I didn't expect it to be true. Yin and Yang mysterious Iron Mothers have grown together since ancient times, and they won't be too far apart. Yingying, when you go back this time, give me your immortal sword, and I will repair it for you again. Xiao Yan said happily. Yes. Mu Yingying agreed slightly after hearing this. Yueru, on the other hand, had black lines all over her head, so she could only transfer the cast away immediately. At this point, the Spring of Life and Death Airy Spring has been repaired, and the next step is to enter it. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 821. It's not bad, you can go in. Seeing the temperature of the 2 springs of life and death muttering, some springs with the power of life and death emerged. Xiao Yan knew that the 2 springs had an effect, and then Xiao Yan said to the crowd. Let's go. When everyone heard the words, they opened their mouths slightly, but their eyes were full of expectations. If this life and death Ariquan really helped them improve the rank of the power of life, then the benefits to them would be indescribable. After all, once the rank of the power of life is increased, whether it is fighting or the power of death in the future, it will be greatly improved, and it can be said that it can kill 3 birds with 1 stone. How sure are you of the power of birth? Why don't I go with you? I also have Holy Flame, and I can still. Walking to the spring, Mu Yingying said, You, go down well and improve your vitality. Your strength of life is now at the 8th rank level, maybe it can be raised to the 9th rank. As for my words, don't worry, trust me. Xiao Yan said with a smile, but the confidence in his voice did not make Mu Yingying worry. 9th rank is not so easy to step into. Leng Fuyao whispered, her life force is 6th rank, and naturally she dare not compare with these guys. After all, Shu Qi was an 8th rank stamina, Yueru, Qin Xin, and Mu Feng were all 7th rank. Everyone, let's go in. After the explanation, Xiao Yan didn't hesitate, each found a quiet place, and immediately began to practice. This spring of life and death is very large, and it is more than enough to accommodate so many people. Tisk tisk tisk. As if Xiao Yan had just entered the spring, he suddenly felt a stinging pain in his heart. But this time, Xiao Yan was not wrapping his body with the power of flames, but just wrapped his forehead. After all, the current spring water in the 2 springs of life and death contains the power of life and death, and the body absorbs it. The more, the better for promotion, so Xiao Yan would not be so stupid as to isolate these powers. According to the hated old monster, you must first absorb some of the power of life and death in the 2 Yiquan of life and death, and then you can use the feeling in the dark to lead the life of the 6-star fighting emperor. I hope it can be successful. The corner of Xiao Yan's mouth moved slightly, and then he didn't say any more, and his figure was the lowest in the spring. The mouth of the spring is not necessarily the place where the power of life and death is most concentrated, but the bottom of the spring is definitely. As soon as he entered the bottom of the spring, Xiao Yan found that several other people had already come here, closed their eyes and started to cultivate. Obviously, everyone knew that the bottom of the spring was the best for absorbing the power of life and death. Then let's start. Seeing that there was no special situation, Xiao Yan also began to absorb it. Shabu shabu. As soon as he began to absorb it, a wave of death permeated Xiao Yan's body, and this wave was a force of death. I don't have the power of life in my body right now. If I absorb this power of death, I'm afraid I will explode and die. So, get out of here, Xiao Yan shouted loudly. Although the current Xiao Yan also wants to absorb the power of death, he does not even have the power of life in his body. It seems that the power of life and death in this 2 Yaikuan of life and death, I can only absorb the power of life. Forget the power of death. Xiao Yan shook his head, but seeing that the other people were all absorbed by the power of life and death, he immediately felt helpless. The power of life is the power of life. The road still has to be taken step by step. Although Xiao Yan envied the power of life and death absorbed by the other people, when he entered the 9-star Do Emperor in the future, I am afraid it will be extremely easy, but Xiao Yan also knows in my own situation, I simply cut off the power of the soul. Instead of sensing the other people, I concentrated on absorbing the power of qi. Hoo. With Xiao Yan so concentrated, that life force was continuously absorbed by Xiao Yan into his body. 1 day, 2 days, 10 days have passed in a blink of an eye. Why hasn't Xiao Yan come out yet? Mu Yingying opened her mouth slightly, her voice full of urgency. In 10 days, several of them all withdrew from the spring of life and death because of their body saturation. However, the life force in Mu Yingying's body was still at the 8th rank. Different from the sky and the underground, it can be said unceremoniously that Mu Yingying's concentration of life force at this time has already reached the peak of 8 stars, and she can enter the 9th rank in 1 step, but for the 9th rank, even it was Mu Yingying who wasn't sure. But this is enough. With the strength of life force, I am afraid that now the 6-star Do Emperor's complete powerhouse can easily fight, and even the 7-star Do Emperor early stage powerhouse can also fight. Mu Yingying is satisfied. A smile. As for Shuqi, like Mu Yingying, she has stepped into the peak of the 8th rank, and the 9th rank is too difficult. Qinxin, Mu Feng, and Yueru are still at the 7th rank, but they have also stepped into the peak of the 7 stars. The only one whose strength of life has improved is Leng Fuyao. Leng Fuyao's strength of life has been raised from the 6th to the 7th star. Although this improvement is not terrifying, it also confirms that this life and death Ariaiquan does have a mysterious effect of helping people improve the power of life. Xiao Yan's words are a bit special. I'm afraid that he should be trying to find a way to lead the 6-star Do Emperor's life. Because only after the calamity is successful, the power of birth will be born in the body. However, it's strange to say that this Xiao Yan is so powerful. How could he not have the strength to live? Shu Qi asked in doubt. It should be when I went out to practice before. Xiao Yan's strength jumped directly from a 5-star Do Emperor to a 6-star Do Emperor because of the matter of Sheng Yan. Therefore, the 6-star Do Emperor's calamity was naturally covered up. Mu Yingying thought about it and said casually, after all, there are no outsiders here. What else? Shu Qi felt a little sympathetic to Xiao Yan when she heard the words. The spring water has begun to fluctuate violently. It should be Xiao Yan who is about to succeed. Leng Fuyao was actually staring at the surface of the water while everyone was talking. She was also looking forward to Xiao Yan's success. Moreover, Leng Fuyao always seemed to feel that if Xiao Yan succeeded in bringing out the calamity this time, I am afraid that his rank would definitely not be low. What a rich energy of life. Shu Qi's eyesight was extraordinary, and he recognized at a glance how rich the energy of life was. Although the power of life is strong, how can it seem to me that it is in the spring of life and death? And I don't know if you've noticed that this life force doesn't contain any trace of death force. It's a very clean life force. Qin said. What the asterisk does this guy want to do? Yu Ru opened her eyes at this time, obviously not knowing what Xiao Yan wanted to do. In 10 days, the energy of life is extremely strong. I hope you won't let me down this time. 6-star Do Di Sheng Jia, come out. Xiao Yan finished speaking, his pupils suddenly opened, his attacking eyes staring at the top of the life and death airy spring. Where, there seems to be a trace of something hidden on the spot, and that thing is what the hated old monster said at the beginning, Xiao Yan, the 6-star fighting emperor who covered up the past because of swallowing the holy flame. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 822. This guy, what a terrifying battle. Leng Fuyao stared at the growing robbery cloud above the Yaiquan of life and death, and spoke slowly. The robbery cloud is different from the thunder robbery produced by refining medicinal pills. The calamity cloud of transcending tribulation is triggered by the strength of the transcending calamity, and it directly attacks the transcending robbery, while the thunder tribulation is only produced by medicinal pills. If the transcendence fails, the transcendence will fall, and the failure to fight against the thunder tribulation is at best only the destruction of the medicinal pill, so the two are different. What a terrifying Jian. Just the terrifying level of this robbery cloud is probably no less than the strength of a 7th-rank student. Leng Fuyao raised his head with some difficulty. Although he knew Xiao Yan was not simple, he was shocked when he saw it like this. 7th grade? It's too underestimated. Yu Ru had a calm expression on her face. Although her own strength was higher than the 5-star Do Emperor, but in the ruins, with the help of the perception of the inheritance rune, Yu Ru knew that this robbery cloud was definitely not possible. It will only be a 7th grade robbery cloud. It's really a terrifying robbery cloud. At this time, Xiao Yan was at the bottom of the spring of life and death airy spring, but separated by such a distance, he could still feel the horror of the robbery cloud. But the 7th grade robbery cloud, this is not enough. Xiao Yan finished speaking, he was sinking, and then he didn't hide it. The burning determination in the body suddenly revolved, absorbing the spring water in all directions. At that time, the energy of life was directly absorbed by Xiao Yan, absorbed it into his body without a trace, and then after Xiao Yan's special transformation, he flew into the sky and went directly to the robbery cloud in the sky. This guy is really brave. He's artificially creating a cloud of calamity. Shu Qi suddenly couldn't hide her surprise and said, "A man-made cloud of calamity?" Leng Fuyao was immediately puzzled when he heard the words. Originally, this Jian only has the level of the 7th rank, but Xiao Yan probably won't be so reconciled, so he absorbed all the life force in the 2 Yaiquan of life and death, and directly added it to the Jian. That Jian felt such a strong energy of life, and he would definitely mistake the strength of this robbery transcendence for tyrannical strength, so Jian will increase. Shu Qi said, "Will there be any danger in this?" Mu Yingying and Yueru became anxious when they heard this. There is definitely danger. But danger and opportunity coexist, Xiao Yan, this guy. After Shu Qi finished speaking, the corner of her mouth suddenly burst into a smile. As the proud son of Wanhua Pavilion, Shu Qi naturally disliked many people, although Xiao Yan and the people from Burning Incense Pavilion did not make Shu Qi feel this way. However, Shu Qi knew that Xiao Yan used a move to completely wipe out the slightest error she had towards him, and I am afraid that Shu Qi now looks at Xiao Yan like a monster. The robbery of the 8th rank level is over. Qin Shin said after a while. It hasn't stopped yet. The energy of this robbery cloud is still increasing. At the next moment, Qin Shin spoke up. 8th rank, that's not enough. Come again for me. Seeing this, Xiao Yan immediately flashed a madness in his pupils, and then, regardless of the 3721, he directly poured all the life force released from the 2 springs into his body. Facing the robbery clouds above the sky, they gathered together. This guy is really an out-and-out lunatic. Shu Qi couldn't help saying, looking at the robbery cloud that contained violent fluctuations in the sky. With these fluctuations, he has far surpassed the power of life of the 8th rank level. I am afraid that if this continues, the power of life of the 9th rank level will be born. Although the power of the 9th grade life is extremely terrifying, and there are many benefits to fighting against others, this 9th grade robbery cloud is not easy to deal with. Let's see in a while, if it really doesn't work, let's do it together. Yueru thought for a while, then spoke up. Yep, right on my mind. Xiao Yan, this guy really does not play his cards according to common sense, Ju Pin Jian. Several people agreed. It's almost there. Xiao Yan stared at the robbery cloud in the sky, and found that the robbery cloud could no longer increase, and the energy of life in the 2 Yaikuan of life and death was temporarily absorbed by himself, and he said immediately. However, Xiao Yan knew that the terrifying level of this robbery had already reached the level of the 9th grade robbery. If he could successfully pass through it, the power of 9th grade students would undoubtedly be born. Plop! With a sound, Xiao Yan poured out directly from the spring of life and death, and then without turning his head, jumped directly into the cloud of 9th grade tribulation. ZZ. In the terrifying robbery cloud, robbery thunder was constantly being born. Xiao Yan just entered, and the robbery cloud suddenly hit Xiao Yan, making Xiao Yan a pain in the flesh. It hurts so much? Xiao Yan couldn't help but say something. This 9th grade Jian is really not a joke. His physical fitness is very good, but when he is in front of Jian, he has a feeling of being powerless. Xiao Yan has entered the robbery cloud. Leng Fuyao couldn't help but look up at the figure covered in flames. A fiery wave of fire hit, and at the same time, there was an extremely fierce robbery of the cloud. Force. This guy plundered directly into the robbery cloud? Qinshin's face couldn't help but look slightly awkward. Several people here know that this Jian is something that mortals are afraid of, but Xiao Yan actually swept in directly? Hee, my good fellow. I hope you don't let me down. Xiao Yan had just swept into the robbery cloud, and immediately took out the dust-covered Jin Yaokui. Thanks to the power of life and death just now, I will use the power of life to trigger the robbery cloud. As for this robbery cloud, it is up to you. Xiao Yan finished speaking. Why did he not hesitate to directly put those who had just been in the 2 Yaikuan of life and death? The absorbed black death force all poured into the body of Jin Yaopup. And with the influx of Xiao Yan's enormous energy of death, the golden demon puppet's pupils suddenly became very strange, and the next moment, it was directly flashing strange black. That black color, like getting up, grabs people's attention. Gula Gulu, but the next moment Jin Yaopup's body suddenly trembled. What's going on? Xiao Yan had just put the power of death into the golden demon puppet, when the golden demon puppet suddenly appeared like this, and was immediately shocked. No, you can't be violent. At the next moment, Xiao Yan seemed to realize that the golden demon puppet couldn't withstand such a terrifying force of death, and immediately the dazzling holy flame and some high-level swings were thrown directly at the golden demon puppet. Boom boom boom! With Xiao Yan so generous, the golden demon puppet finally calmed down, and then the veins on his body jumped violently, and an aura of fearlessness filled the air. Finally, it's all right. Xiao Yan exhaled and spoke directly. Next, it's time to absorb this robbery cloud. Let me see how far you can reach after absorbing the 9th grade robbery cloud and the power of death. Go to the place where the robbery cloud is the most dense among the clouds. In response, Jin Yaopup didn't feel anything. His face was still, like bronze, and he swept away directly. Seeing this, Mu Yingying, who was still worried under the sky, couldn't help but shake her head. It seems that our worries are unnecessary. This guy is really... After speaking, he stared at the 2 figures in the robbery cloud and smiled slowly. The 8th shift arrives. Today is the 5th watch, making up for yesterday's 3rd watch. In fact, many times the author will not break his promise, but there are some urgent matters, such as being ill, friends, brothers and sisters have something to do, so during the outbreak, the update will rarely be delayed. I hope everyone understands. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 823. It's almost there. Xiao Yan saw that in the terrifying robbery clouds, all those robbery clouds were absorbed by the golden demon puppet, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Jin Yaopup is worthy of being a Jin Yaopup. It was transformed by his uncle Jinlong King before, and now with his holy flame and some medicinal materials, his body strength is undoubtedly improved to a higher level. Originally, Xiao Yan didn't think of using this method, but the power of death would be wasted if he didn't use it. With the addition of holy flames, Jin Yaopup's body could be made even more tyrannical, so Xiao Yan definitely wouldn't pass up this opportunity. Boom boom boom. No matter what kind of terrifying attack the 9-ranked Jian made, it just fell on the golden demon puppet, and the golden demon puppet absorbed all of it without a trace. The power of thunder and lightning seems quite terrifying. The last blow. Xiao Yan stared at the extremely bright robbery cloud, and suddenly found that the robbery cloud had condensed into a group of extremely small thunder tribulations, but the fluctuations above the thunder tribulation were more than ever before. Attacks are more powerful. Holy flame, come out. Xiao Yan immediately frowned. Obviously, the golden demon puppet had been tempered just now, but he was still a little worried that the golden demon puppet couldn't withstand such a huge attack. On the body of the demon puppet. Otherwise, if the golden demon puppet were to fall under this robbery cloud, Xiao Yan would not be distressed. After all, this golden demon puppet was the most loyal thug. Boom boom boom. Jia Yun directly ignored the 3721, and suddenly hit the golden demon puppet. Crackling. The thunder tribulation caused by the robbery brought bursts of terrifying power of destruction and directly attacked the golden demon. Not bad, not bad. Watching the golden demon puppet slowly smash Ji Yan away, a smile appeared on the corner of Xiao Yan's mouth. Hey! With the disappearance of Ji Yan, Xiao Yan suddenly felt a strange power appear in his body. Doqi at home. This place was originally the residence of Xiao Yan's flaming beasts in Shengyanjing, but I don't know why the flaming beasts suddenly opened their fierce pupils at this time, and the gorgeous flames were suddenly replaced by a dazzling white energy. Replace. Ow! The flame beast changed so much, it seemed to make a very happy cry. Strange, what is going on with this flaming beast? Xiao Yan was a little puzzled. Emperor Dou's cultivation is all about compressing the Sea of Doqi, but the Doqi in his Doqi Sea is all on the body of this flaming beast. At this time, after passing through the 9th grade life calamity, the power of life that was born appeared on the body of the flaming beast. This made Xiao Yan have to be surprised. It is said that if you want to be promoted to Do Xian, you must create the power of life and death, perfectly integrate the force of life and death, and then compress the Do Qi into a fist size and turn it into Do Xian, that is the real Do Xian strong. Xiao Yan tightly sensing the flame beast within his body, he seemed to be thinking something. It seems that this fiery beast has compressed Xiao Yan's Do Qi in the Do Qi Sea. Could it be that this guy came here because of his own fire or a change in the strange fire? The short-term speculation was fruitless, and Xiao Yan simply did not hesitate. After all, this flaming beast was just born with the power of birth, and it was falling asleep. The power of life, come out. The next moment, Xiao Yan's pupils suddenly opened, and he immediately shouted loudly. Boom boom boom. Xiao Yan's voice just fell, and a milky white life force instantly appeared around Xiao Yan's body. Good guy, the strongest 9th rank student power. Seeing this, Mu Feng couldn't help saying, the power of life is divided into 1 to 9 ranks, and rank 9 is undoubtedly the most tyrannical. I'm afraid this guy can deal with the powerhouses in the early stage of the 7-star Do Emperor just by relying on such a powerful life force. At least I haven't heard of who has the 9th rank life force in Zan Sansan. Xiao Yan, the first one. Shu Qi also couldn't hide the surprise in her tone. What a terrifying force of life, just this fluctuation. Terror can deal with some ordinary 7-star fighting emperors. Xiao Yan casually sensed the tyranny of this 9th rank life force, and immediately opened his mouth. By the way, there is also you guy. The next moment, Xiao Yan turned his attention to Jin Yaopup. At this time, the golden demon puppet had a faint black aura on its body. Xiao Yan was no stranger to this black aura. Look where your limit is. Xiao Yan sensed it, and found that he could not sense the limit of the golden demon puppet with his current self, so he spoke immediately. Hearing the words, Jin Yaopup made a pleased gesture to Xiao Yan. Wangchen refers to Wangchen Palm. The two roars attacked the golden demon puppet directly with dazzling vitality. Jin Yaopup did not dodge or dodge, letting Xiao Yan's attack fall on him. Boom boom boom. The power of Xiao Yan's second fighting skills is naturally good, and when combined with the power of life that Xiao Yan is using now, instead of fighting Qi, the power is even higher. What a terrifying defense. Just after the attacking afterglow dissipated, Xiao Yan found that his attack did not cause much damage to the golden demon puppet, and immediately said uncontrollably. ZZ. With the disappearance of Xiao Yan's attack, traces of lightning and the power of death continued to surface on the surface of Jin Yaopup's body. Absorbed the power of death and the power of thunder. I'm afraid that you are not too arrogant to deal with some mid-stage 7-star Do Emperor powerhouses just by virtue of your physical tyranny, Xiao Yan said with a smile. Now that the golden demon puppet has a loyal partner who is comparable to the middle stage of the 7-star Do D, there is undoubtedly some more trump cards. Since the matter is over, let's go. Xiao Yan waved it at will, and the golden demon puppet was immediately put away by Xiao Yan. This is a trump card. The fewer people who know it, the better. The power of rank 9 students. Xiao Yan had just returned to the large army, and was suddenly surprised. Okay, you are not weak anymore. Xiao Yan said with a smile. How can we compare with you? Leng Fuyao pouted and said slightly, obviously looking at Xiao Yan now as if he were looking at a monster. Even if you have the holy flame, the medicine refining skills are still better than your own, and even the cultivation of Do Qi is much better than your own, which makes the proud Leng Fuyao feel slightly depressed. How can there be such a guy in this world? How are things going? Xiao Yan asked casually. It's ready. The token for entering Guanggan Island has also been prepared, and now it's time to go. Shu Qi said. Yueru, don't you still need something to inherit runes? Xiao Yan suddenly remembered something and said. No need, Fairy Jiayue said just now, just wait until the end of this place and go straight over. Yueru smiled slightly. If that's the case, then let's go. After Xiao Yan finished speaking, he took the lead to leave the life and death airy spring, and the other people followed after seeing this. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 824. Nearly 15 days have passed since the opening of Fairy Moon Fairy's ruins. During these 15 days, Xiao Yan and his group had all shrunk in the spring of life and death, but the others were not doing well. First of all, the two brothers Feng Hong and Du Chun from the ancient desolate hall. Ever since Xiao Yan entered the spring of life and death, and learned that they had entered hopeless, they left the swamp area. After all, the spring of life and death is precious, but this treasure is not the only thing in the ruins. If you waste time here, is undoubtedly not a wise choice. However, the two of them put their minds on the resentful old monster. Even though the resentful old monster has a lot of treasures, the strength of the resentful old monster is enough to have the middle stage of the 8-star fighting emperor, so Feng Hong and Du Chun suffered a lot. In the end, if the two hadn't escaped by virtue of their abilities, they would have been tortured to death by the resentful old monster. Unfortunate, how can this grudge old monster be so strong? A wry smile appeared at the corner of Feng Hong's mouth. Senior brother, I can't blame you for this, mainly because we didn't understand the details of resentment against the old monster. Du Chun said with a grin. Okay, you kid. Feng Hong glanced at Du Chun, then said earnestly. Do you really take Xiao Yan of Fenxiang Pavilion as your opponent? The next moment, Feng Hong asked directly with a frown. That's right. Xiao Yan, this guy, since he stood out in the points-grabbing competition, I swear to surpass him in this life. Du Chun heard the words and smiled slowly. This is a good sign. Work hard. Senior brother is waiting for the day when you will carry forward our ancient desolate temple. Feng Hong heard the words and encouraged. Although Feng Hong knew that Du Chun might not be able to surpass Xiao Yan, it was obvious that Feng Hong would try his best to help his junior brother. By the way, senior brother, we only saw Xiao Yan and Qi Horan when we entered the Molten World. Although Du Chun was very nervous, he still knew some important things. I also feel a little strange about that. The members of the Xuanling royal family are inherently mysterious, and the breath of Qi Horan before his death is extremely wrong. Besides, Qi Haoqing also ran away, and the matter of Qi Horan is dead without proof. But one thing is certain. Given the current relationship between Burning Incense Pavilion and the Xuanling royal family, I am afraid that the Xuanling royal family will use this to cause trouble. After all, the grievances between the two forces are not 1 day or 2 days. Feng Hong shook his head and said, Those bastards. Du Chun heard the words and was in a hurry. Xiao Yan is not only Du Chun's competitor. If it wasn't for Xiao Yan, Du Chun would not be the current Du Chun, so Du Chun is extremely grateful to Xiao Yan, Okay, it's not our turn to take care of these things. Our top priority now is to go to Guanggan Island first. Feng Hong said, Don't you need a token to enter Guanggan Island? Hearing this, Du Chun suddenly became puzzled. It is true that some tokens are needed, but not everyone needs them. You only need 2 tokens from Moonlight Island and Jade Rabbit Island to open the entrance. Feng Hong said, If that's the case, then let's go. Du Chun nodded slightly when he heard the words. But I just don't know where the fighting spirit is now. That's something that even the fighting spirits are jealous of. Feng Hong looked at Jade Rabbit Island on the side with some nostalgia. It is said that the fighting spirit is on Jade Rabbit Island, Moreover, Feng Hong and the others were originally going to Jade Rabbit Island, but they came to Moonlight Island by accident. It doesn't matter. Let's go to the entrance of Guanggan Island to gather first. After calculating the time, it should be almost the same. After Feng Hong finished speaking, he took Du Chun directly towards the entrance of Guanggan Island. Tisk tisk. Chi Horan, that idiot, was actually killed by Xiao Yan? Although that guy is arrogant, but he is actually the middle stage of the 7-star Do Emperor, so he fell like this? In a dark place in Moonlight Island, a man spoke slowly on the stone, in the voice with a somewhat unusual look. The man is impressively the outstanding disciple of Solomon today, Gunny. He, that idiot is hopeless. I originally said that I wanted to join forces with the Xuanling royal family, but I didn't expect that there are only the two of us left. On the other side, in front of Gunny, an equally strange man seemed to be holding something in his hand, and his whole body flashed with a green aura. The man said grimly, "Wang Xie, what are you talking about? Don't you underestimate me?" Hearing that, Gunny was immediately upset. Although he is only the strength of the early stage of the 7-star Do Emperor, but in real battle, Gunny is not much worse than Chi Horan and Wang Xie in the middle stage of the 7-star Do Emperor. Haha, brother Gu, that's not what I meant. I mean, the fewer people, the more things we get, right? Then Chi Horan's two brothers have now been killed by Xiao Yan, and the remaining Chi Haoking don't know where they went. If so, I'm afraid Xiao Yan will get into big trouble. Wang Xie smiled gloomily. That's what you said, too. Gunny thought about it, and instantly felt reasonable. Okay, put away your disgusting thing, we have to go. They have already gathered the tokens on Moonlight Island and Jade Rabbit Island, and they are about to open Guanggan Island. Guanggan Island is the real treasure, Gunny said to Wang Xie with a disdainful expression on his face. The ghost knows what this king is doing with this monster's limbs, it's really disgusting. When Wang Xie heard the words, he immediately smiled, and then his palm sank directly into the head of the beast in his palm. After a while, a beast appeared, and then Wang Xie swallowed the beast abruptly. It tastes great. After Wang Xie ate the beast, he didn't forget to say a word, and as Wang Xie devoured the beast like this, the green aura around his body was indistinctly enhanced. Let's go. After speaking, the two of them walked directly towards the entrance of Guanggan Island. And just after the two left, a familiar figure slowly appeared behind them. UU reading link to www.ukanshu.com. This human body is really comfortable. But the pressure here is too strong, and after all, it is the remains of Do Xian. Forget it, let's let this silly boy live a little longer. Anyway, that ruthless guy from King Xuanling has planted a formation in Chi Haoqing's body. As soon as the fighting spirit shows up, the dragon-loving legion will appear. At that time, let your fighting spirit be strong and how to protect it. Ruins, let the Xuanling king's people make such a fuss, I finally came out and ended. King Xuanling, you take your fighting spirit. As for our evil tribes outside the realm, we want the remains of the Fairy Moon to be left undisturbed. Fairy Moon was forced to suppress it by dispatching 2 kings of foreign evil races. How could it be so easy for you? Are you trying to obtain inheritance, these humans? As Chi Haoqing's strange voice disappeared, Chi Haoqing's pupils and even his breath returned to normal, but the breath was extremely weak. Strange, why am I here? What? My head hurts. Chi Haoqing turned slightly, hugged his forehead with his hand, and then spoke. However, there are 2 looming mysterious marks that even Chi Haoqing himself may not have discovered. 2 marks, one is the teleportation formation planted by the Xuanling king, and the other is the blood curse of the foreign evil race. Today, Tekawen, can you update a few more chapters? The latest chapter is updated every day at 8 o'clock in the evening. End of this chapter.